Hi, kindergarten, first and second grade leaders. We're preparing for June 9th in our summer series, Summer 2019. In this series, we're going to be working our way chronologically through the Bible. We've made it to where the Israelites have made it into the Promised Land. And so now we're starting into 1 Samuel, where we will look at the time of the judges. And this time period in particular was a turbulent time for God's people. They continued to fall into cycles of sin, which made life challenging for them, made it to where they didn't have maybe as much order, as much as well, what we're going to see is going into the time of David when they wanted a king. And so God helped provide a king. And then they realized that that was not really what they wanted. A king was not going to help solve all the problems. And so they're just, all of us have the tendency to ask God for big, big, big things, not realizing what we're asking when we get that answer. And in fact, this week you're going to get a little bit of chance to practice that as we look at this week the book of 1 Samuel, chapters 1 through 3. And we're going to be looking at Samuel and Hannah. Hannah was Samuel's mom. Hannah was not able to have a child for a long time and was continually going to the temple and praying and asking God for a child. And so when God provided that child, Hannah promised God that he could have the child back. And so when Samuel was old enough, Hannah took Samuel to Eli, the temple priest, and Eli continued to raise Samuel in the temple court under all of the Jewish laws, under all the rites and rituals that a priest would follow in that time. And so Hannah got the chance to learn to pray. Samuel got the chance to learn to hear God. So, I know there's many times when I'm praying that I forget to take time to listen or to pay attention to what God has in front of me, sometimes through his word, sometimes through other people, through circumstances. And so not only is it important for us to learn to pray and talk to God, there's not a particular way we need to pray, but we do need to be aware of God's voice when God decides to answer us. And so today in your small group time, you're going to get the chance to talk about ways that we can pray so that we are paying attention to God and to God's desires for us. Before you get there, you have a social activity. In kindergarten through second grade leaders, you're going to have a box like this on your table. Each week, your social activity for this series is going to change. Just trying to mix it up for the summertime and give kids something fun to look forward to. They love to play these minute-to-win-it games, and so I think that you'll have fun with this. So kindergarten through second grade leaders, you'll have a green bucket like this. Third, fourth, and fifth graders, you should have a blue bucket. It's all the exact same activity, but it's just so that we can keep track of where everything's going. And then in your bucket, you're going to have a bag full of cups and pieces of paper. What you're going to do is take your small group and split it into 2 teams. And each team is going to get 5 cups. 5 cups. And then they're going to get 4 pieces of paper each. And what kids are going to do, and I'm going to see if I can do this in my video without it all falling on top of us, are going to take the cups and stack them with a piece of paper in between each cup stack. Can you see that? I'm trying to make it tall enough so you can see one more layer. So they should be able to go all the way up 5 cups And what you're going to do once the time starts is each kid is going to get the chance to do this activity once. So it'll be kind of relay fashion, but the whole activity takes 1 minute per each kid. So you'll have to reset it in between. And you're going to split into 2 groups. And so hopefully it goes a little faster because you'll have 2 teams doing this at the exact same time. And what the kids are supposed to do is try to pull the piece of paper, and I haven't figured out how to do this real great yet. I will give you a hint. What I saw on YouTube is that if you flick the paper, it's supposed to work better. Oh, well, it worked, the paper fell, but the cup was supposed to stack on top of the other cup. So if the cup falls over, then that doesn't count. What you're supposed to do is remove the paper without removing the cups. And so, see if I can make it go. Not quite. See, I told you, I practiced this a few different times and I have not been successful at it yet. Hopefully it's something that some of our kids can be successful at though and have fun with. And then to make it even more fun, you have team papers that look like this. And so you can put the players' names if you want to right here. And team 1, if they got all of the cup, or you will give them a point for each cup that they got stacked. So depending upon the players' names, you'll put them in team 1 or team 2 and use your paper. I'm just realizing though that this paper is not going to work great because your players should, I don't know, you can figure out how to write that on there so that it works for you. I'm sorry. I should have paid attention to that before I published all of that stuff. So like I said, social activities are a way for you to get to know your few and for them to get a chance to know you. Through activities like this, we are beginning to build relationships and have common stories to share together. So I encourage you to get to your small group as soon as you can so that you can participate in these activities with them as soon as possible so that you have those memories to create with your few. Then we will do large group, and after large group, you will move into your small group area. And when you get to small group, you will have a bag full of orange cards that look like this, and a few binder rings. Let's see if I can find them. And here, some binder rings that look like this. And what your kids are going to do, you should have scissors and hole punches as well. What your kids are going to do is take all of these cards and cut them out. Each kid needs all of the cards. So each kid will get a sheet of paper. And they're going to cut out the cards, and then they can use their hole punch to punch a hole in the little holes. And then after they've punched the hole in there, they can put their binder ring on there. And then these are supposed to help them figure out how to pray and things that they could pray for. Sometimes all of us get in a rut of what we pray for, or we're very selfish and we only pray for ourselves. And so hopefully by practicing prayer, all of our kids are beginning to learn to focus on possibly some different things. And also, like Hannah and Samuel, Hannah had to wait a long time. And so sometimes when we talk to God, we have to wait a long time for an answer, or we get an answer that's different than what we were expecting. Or like Samuel, God was calling him, but he didn't know it was Samuel. He kept going to talk to Eli. And so sometimes we need to learn to stop and listen and to hear when God is answering us, or if it's not an audible kind of thing, be able to stop and look around us and see, did God provide a way and I missed it? I didn't pay attention. So this would be an opportune time for you to share a personal story about how you've seen God answer prayers in your life or in the lives of those that you're closest to. I'd be mindful of some of your stories potentially. I know none of you share inappropriate stuff, but you also want to be mindful that we have our kids come from lots of different situations. And so be mindful of the kids that are in your group before you share a story that might be a little sensitive to them. That's why I said that. All right. So your memory verse activity, you're going to have a sheet of paper. Let's see if I can find it. And this one's just a sheet of paper, but what you will have are some name tags. You will have name tags that look like this. And what you'll be able to do is peel off one name tag at a time and put it on kids. If you want to make it really challenging, you can put it on their back. That way they have to talk to each other or have to interact with each other to figure out how to do it. And then what they're supposed to do without talking is to put themselves in order of the memory verse. And in your folder, you have a memory verse that looks like this. No one is like you, Lord. You are great, and your name is mighty in power. Jeremiah 10:6. All right, I have one other thing to tell you really quick that I forgot. To simplify things while I'm out on vacation, I have put together folders for our kindergarten through 5th grade leaders. Usually every week you have a 9:30 folder and an 11 o'clock folder. For this week only on June 9th, you're just going to have one folder just so that we had a way to prep that ahead of time so that everything was ready before I left on vacation. So just wanted to kind of give you that heads up in case you're looking for my 11 o'clock folder or my 9:30 folder. Everything is there and it's all in your folder ready and waiting for you. The rest of your stuff will be in your basket like it normally is. Then you can pray and dismiss your kiddos and send them home with their coloring pages if they completed those today. Thank you so much for leading. Thank you for being with us this summer. Building relationships with kids is so important. Our numbers have been growing consistently, and I think that that's because our small group leaders are so amazing at building relationships with kids and helping them feel important when they're with you. So thank you for all you're doing in small groups. Please reach out to me if at any time you need help figuring out how to handle a situation or just want to visit. I'd love the chance. Have a great week.